Ever woken up in the middle of the night, feeling a heavy, warm weight pressed against your side, and wondered if there was a deeper calculation behind that choice? Most people look at their sleeping cat and see a simple pet seeking warmth, but if you look closer, you are witnessing a profound breach of biological defenses. When a male cat chooses your bed over every other corner of the house, he isn't just picking a cushion. He is telling you something that defies every survival instinct his ancestors spent millions of years perfecting. He is inviting you into a world of hidden boundaries and silent oaths, a territory you didn't even know you were a part of. Welcome to the Felis Clan, where we peel back the layers of the feline mystery to see what's really going on behind those glowing eyes. If you find these insights into your cat's secret life as fascinating as I do, please take a moment to subscribe and join our community. Your support is what gives us the motivation to keep diving deep into these untold stories. To understand why this choice is so significant, we have to look at your home through his eyes, not as a floor plan, but as a map of strategic risk. Male cats are the master cartographers of their environment, dividing their world into strict zones: the public areas where guests are tolerated, the neutral zones for family, and the inner circle. This last zone is a sacred, super special safe space that male cats rarely share. In the wild, sleep is the ultimate vulnerability. It is the moment a predator becomes prey. By choosing to spend 8 hours straight in your room, your cat is making a tactical sacrifice. He is naturally more territorial and guarded than a female, wired to be a tireless patroller. Yet, in the sanctuary of your bedroom, he decides to let his guard down completely. If you've noticed him sleeping between you and the door, he isn't just cuddling. He is literally standing guard, positioning himself as the first line of defense. This isn't just affection. It is a high-stakes declaration of trust. He has decided that you are not just a source of food, but a part of his most protected unit, an asset worth his own life. But this territorial surrender is only the surface of a much deeper, invisible bond that begins to vibrate the moment his fur touches your skin. As we move from the physical layout of the room into the internal architecture of the body, we find that the connection between a male cat and his human is not just emotional, it is profoundly biological. There is a hidden synchronization happening under the covers, a silent calibration that turns two separate species into a single, functioning unit. As a witness to these quiet moments, I've found that the most staggering evidence of this bond lies in what scientists call the heartbeat discovery. Your cat possesses a level of sensory input that borders on the supernatural. His ears are finely tuned instruments capable of detecting your heartbeat from over 3 feet away. While you are drifting through the stages of REM sleep, he isn't just lying there. He is listening. When he curls into the curve of your side or sprawls across your chest, he begins to perform a rhythmic adjustment, actually slowing or accelerating his own heart rate to mirror yours. It is a biological handshake that occurs only with a chosen human anchor, a phenomenon almost never observed when they sleep alone or even alongside other felines. In the wild, male cats in social groups will instinctively sync their pulses with the individual they perceive as the most stable leader, the one who represents the highest probability of survival. In the sanctuary of your home, that anchor is you. By matching your heartbeat, he is literally programming his nervous system to match your frequency, a process that creates a ripple effect throughout his entire health. Research on feline hormones reveals that male cats who regularly engage in this co-sleeping ritual exhibit entirely different stress patterns than those who sleep in isolation. They are more composed during the day, they display a curious confidence in new environments, and they recover with remarkable speed from stressful events like vet visits or loud thunderstorms. I've often reflected on the case of a particularly aloof male cat who, after years of distance, suddenly began sleeping directly on his owner's chest every night. It was later realized that this shift began exactly when the owner started treatment for a severe anxiety disorder. The cat wasn't merely seeking comfort, he was providing it. He sensed the internal discord in his human's rhythm and stepped in as a living, breathing regulation system. It makes you realize that he isn't just a silent observer of your life, he is a biological participant in it. This internal tether runs so deep that it allows him to sense the subtle shift in your physiology long before you even open your eyes, leading to a level of predictive behavior that feels less like instinct and more like a shared consciousness. This biological bridge doesn't just connect your hearts. It opens a window into your most private habits, allowing him to catalog your life with a precision that is both humbling and slightly unsettling. Beyond the shared heartbeat lies a level of observation so intense that it borders on surveillance, yet it is driven by a profound need to manage the safety of his unit. While you might think of your bedtime as a spontaneous decision based on how tired you feel, to your male cat, it is a high-stakes ritual governed by a sequence of predictable cues that he has spent months, if not years, perfectly memorizing. I've spent hours analyzing how these animals transition from playful companions to focused sentinels as the sun goes down. Using infrared technology, researchers have pulled back the curtain on what actually happens in a cat's mind during these hours, and the results are mind-blowing. Your cat knows your routine better than you do because his survival once depended on tracking the patterns of nature. And now, you are his nature. He has memorized what experts call your pre-sleep rituals. He knows the exact acoustic frequency of your toothbrush hitting the holder, the specific way you swipe on your phone one last time, and the rhythmic order in which you kill the lights. He isn't just reacting to these sounds. He is predicting them. Many observers have noted their male cats positioned near the bedroom up to 30 minutes before they even head that way. He isn't waiting for you to tell him it's time. He is waiting for you to catch up to the schedule he's already logged in his brain. In my own observations, I've seen this manifest as bedtime pressure. If you linger too long in the living room, he becomes more visible, more vocal, or might even literally herd you toward the stairs. It's a tactical nudge, a way of ensuring his leader is tucked away in the safe zone so he can begin his true work. And once you finally drift off, his surveillance protocol shifts into its most active phase. While you enter the paralysis of deep sleep, your cat enters a half-alert state. He wakes 7 to 9 times in an 8-hour window, but his eyes only open a sliver, just enough to scan the room for movement while appearing completely dead to the world. His ears rotate like independent radar dishes, checking for a floorboard creak or a distant door handle turning. He takes quick sniff samples of the air, monitoring for any scent that shouldn't be there. If you are having a restless night, tossing or breathing irregularly, his vigilance spikes. He might reposition himself closer, pressing his weight against you as if to anchor your drifting spirit. He is the night shift security you never hired, running a complex routine of micro-wakings to ensure that the perimeter remains unbroken until the first light of dawn. This tireless vigilance throughout the night eventually weaves a web of chemical dependency so profound that it alters the very architecture of both your lives. By the time the morning sun begins to filter through the curtains, you and your cat have exchanged more than just space and breath. You have engaged in a deep, hormonal dialogue that creates a measurable physical addiction to one another. As someone who views these creatures not just as companions, but as biological mirrors, I find the chemistry of the night shift to be the ultimate testament to the male cat's devotion. When a male cat settles in for hours of physical contact with his chosen human, both brains are flooded with oxytocin, the same powerful bonding hormone that flows between a mother and her child. But in the male feline, we see a unique and moving transformation. His testosterone levels actually drop during these co-sleeping hours. The fierce, territorial warrior essentially stands down, allowing his body to be overwhelmed by serotonin and dopamine. Your brain responds in kind as your own cortisol levels plummet and your blood pressure stabilizes. You aren't just sleeping, you are healing in tandem. But the most permanent change happens within the cat's neural pathways through a process called sleep-dependent consolidation. Every night you spend together, your presence is being etched into his long-term memory, not just as a source of comfort, but as an essential element of his survival and well-being. This bond is so structurally sound that it creates actual withdrawal symptoms when broken. Studies have shown that male cats separated from their co-sleeping humans experience physical distress, spiked cortisol, loss of appetite, and even a temporary suppression of their immune systems. It is a sobering realization that your presence has become a physiological necessity for them. As I look at the weight of this responsibility, I realize that we aren't just owners providing a roof. We are the very pulse of their existence. We have trained each other's nervous systems to require this nightly connection, turning a simple bed into a sanctuary of shared biology. Yet, as intense as this bond is under the cover of darkness, it raises a haunting question about the hours when the sun is high. If they are this invested in our safety while we are unconscious, imagine the level of scrutiny they apply to us when we are awake. There is one final layer to this mystery, a way your cat judges your every daily action that you've probably never noticed. What we have uncovered is that the simple act of a male cat sleeping on your bed is never actually simple. It is a high-stakes tactical mission, a biological synchronization, and a profound surrender of his predatory instincts. Through the lens of the behavioral observer, we see that these creatures are not passive house guests. They are active guardians who manage our stress, monitor our health, and run complex security protocols while we are at our most vulnerable. This nightly ritual is a bridge between two worlds, where the inner circle of a territorial warrior opens up to include a human being, transforming a piece of furniture into a sanctuary of shared biology and unspoken oaths. By the time morning comes, the chemical and neural bond has been reinforced so deeply that your presence is no longer just a preference for him. It has become a vital component of his physical and emotional survival. He doesn't just sleep with you. He integrates his very life force into yours, standing as a silent sentinel against the shadows of the night. The profound lesson, the value of invisible devotion. The deepest lesson we can draw from the male cat's nightly vigil is that true protection often happens in silence. We live in a world that celebrates loud, visible gestures of affection and loyalty, yet the most vital support systems in our lives are often the ones running quietly in the background, unnoticed and unthanked. Applying this to your life today. 1. Acknowledge the silent guardians. Take a moment today to recognize the people or systems in your life that provide you with stability without making a scene. The partner who handles the chores so you can rest, or the friend who checks in just when you seem offbeat. 2. Practice presence as a gift. Just as your cat provides security simply by being there, remember that your silent presence can be a powerful regulation system for those you love. Sometimes, you don't need to fix a situation. You just need to synchronize your rhythm with someone who is struggling. 3. Respect your own safe zone. Guard your sleep and your private environment as fiercely as your cat does. Recognize that vulnerability is not a weakness, but a prerequisite for deep, life-altering trust.